Okay, we've
Okay.
started.
Okay, wonderful. So today is September 10th, 2025. The time is approximately 6:05 p.m. And this is a meeting of the SBOE Committee on Student Experience and Engagement. We are in the presence of a quorum today, represented by myself and then Representative Best. Representative Best, can you acknowledge yourself for quorum just for the record, please?
Yep. Present.
Representative Best is here. We've also been joined by Representative Colson, who is not officially a member of the committee yet, but she will be joining the committee shortly. So we're very excited about that. So Representative Colson, I saw you there as well. I will just put you down as being present. So then we have established quorum. We have three members of the committee currently, but we'll soon be increasing by two or three members. So we're excited about that. But right now, since we just have three, we have quorum present and we'll begin the meeting. So we'll turn to the agenda. Representative Colson, I believe you wanted to move an item out of order, which was the student discipline and safety panel discussion, because you had other commitments. So without objection, I'd like to move that to be the first item on the agenda. Is there any objection? Okay, hearing none, Representative Colson, did you want to speak first on the agenda item of student discipline and safety panel planning?
I don't think that I have anything new to contribute to the conversation right now. We've been discussing this. I appreciate the committee for taking this on, and I'm looking forward to collaborating and listening to our panel of experts in the future this month to decide how we can support students, especially students and families who have experienced bullying or some other type of offense and are not open or receptive to restorative justice. So, how else can we support them without saying simply, you have the option of going to another school? So, as we've been talking about it, we know that the policy swung way far to the other end, and we're trying to swing it back to some middle ground that works well for everyone, the students, the families, and the school.
I think that's well said. Any further comments you want to make on the panel? I'll have some, but should we, anything else you'd like to add, Representative Colson?
Not at this time. I
Okay.
had a thorough conversation this morning, and I hope to see some of those things. And again, I would love to hear your comments and those from the rest of the committee.
Yes. So we'll turn
Yeah.
to Representative Best next. Representative Best, did you want to speak on this agenda item?
Yeah. No, I also am excited about this opportunity to connect on this issue. I think some of the things that we've been talking about are very timely, especially as it relates to the topic of bullying v. not bullying, based off of the definition and the underreporting based off of definition. And so I really want to make sure that we are able to address some of those challenges.
Well, I want to thank you both for those comments, and I just echo what you have to say on that. What I'll add to it is I think what both of you have expressed in the past and here is just making sure we get the right balance on this, and that's something I'm committed to do. And I think what this panel will be able to provide us with, hopefully, is an opportunity to reach out to experts that can tackle some of the issues we're facing in DC. And then hopefully, if we can, and we're lucky, we get people who are coming from places that have, found an answer to some of the challenges we're facing and can help us get there too. I know one of the challenges that I get reported all the time is the issue of bullying. It's probably the number one complaint I get as a representative. And parents expressing concern, I think, as you mentioned, Representative Colson, about a student who's being bullied, then having to go sit with their bully for restorative practices. I think personally, restorative practices is a very useful program. I think, though, it is useful in areas where there's student conflict, where you have relatively two equal parties, who maybe get in a disagreement or even a physical altercation that doesn't result in injury. I think that's a great use for restorative practices. I think in bullying, oftentimes the individual who feels bullied feels victimized again through this process, and that's what the parents have indicated to me. So I'd like some reforms there, and I think as Representative Best mentioned, trying to look at the definition of bullying. So much has changed since we looked at this, with the cyber issues that students now face. I think that's something that I would really love to see tackled through some expert testimony with solutions on how we might be able to address that in a thoughtful way here in DC. I think just to close out, I would like to make this the focus of the committee this fall, one of the focuses. And the reason is with only 31% of our youth in the latest report from the ombudsman saying that they feel safe throughout the school day. I mean, that's a shockingly low number. I mean, it should be 95% feeling safe throughout the school day. So when only 31% of youth are saying that, and that was before, even a lot of the federal actions that we're seeing, which may influence some students one way or another on that number. So I would really like to focus on this. I think I've got the right people on the committee to do it, and I'm excited to work with you both. And I would be remiss also, Representative Colson, if I didn't mention your advocacy on the issue of trying to keep dangerous substances out of schools, like the issue of vaping and those addictive substances that students could bring in, and how we find the right balance in terms of ensuring that those products aren't brought in and that there's discipline and accountability for that. I'm also excited we'll have two student reps on the committee. I think that will be very useful in getting the student perspective on this, and they'll kind of know how their peers are feeling about this issue. So we've got a lot of work to do. As usually happens with these committee meetings, the mail is delivered and my dogs go crazy. So that's what's happening right now in the background of this. So I will conclude there. And before you go, Representative Colson, I know you were going to leave after this item. Is there anything else you want to add at all to those comments or to the discussion before the committee?
Not at this time. I appreciate my concerns being heard and that you all share in these concerns. And I look forward to the work that we're going to do.
All right, thank you. Representative Best, anything else on this item before we proceed forward?
No, I don't have anything else extra that I'd like to add.
Okay, well, I look forward to working with you both, and I can't wait to try to put something on the table, right around the start of the year that will propose a solution to some of these challenges that our city and our students are facing. So we'll get to work on that. Okay, we'll move on to the next item now, which will be our work plan update. Dr. Fleischer, do you want to begin with the presentation on this, or is that coming from Ms. Spriggs, or who's going to start this up?
We can, I think we can move that down. Just so we can move on with the next one. I know we started a little bit late and I could update you all shortly after.
And I think it will also be helpful, when we get what I'm going to do before. I thought we'd have more of the new members participating today. I'd like to call each of the committee members prior to, kind of the final discussion on the work plan to see if there's any changes they want from last year's work plan, because members may have new priorities, and we'll have two new student reps that are joining us with not only their priorities, but the students that they represent on SAC's priorities for consideration as well. So I think we can do you want to just have a quick discussion about it and then make it a topic
Sure.
for next month's meeting? Would that be good?
Yeah, I can just quickly catch you up, and maybe while I'm pulling this up, um maybe you could highlight just making sure that funding for some of these projects as I go through them, if any of those apply.
Yes, and that's, I think, something we need to discuss with committee members. Dr. Fleischer and I were talking about like the budget for committee work. So if there's ideas when we meet with members of uh, like research funding that's needed for some of these projects, that we want to try to get that together so we can put the request into the state board for the fiscal year to be able to have the resources the committee needs to, whether it be doing research or in any sort of outreach that we would need. So, and here's this is the big one, isn't it?
This is the combined one.
Okay, good.
And so
Or this is the truncated one, not the full
the
one.
truncated one, that's correct. So just a few quick items. Our listening session, our wonderful communications team put together the form for that, the sign up form that's gone out to student representatives. It will be shared out with PAVE, and other organizations for younger students, so grades 1 through 5. And yeah, well, also middle school, just like younger students, and then high school students, the student representatives. Um, we're sharing a social media toolkit so that they can share that out as well. And I can share that later in the meeting, what that looks like, but we're on track with that. Um, Tracking policies from the past, we're still on track with that, or still working on that. Um, this, I think we're still working on this vote on special education, secondary transition. I think that there's been discussion at during the recent working session.
Yeah.
And I think this is being pushed back a little bit. Uh, Vote on the charter school sports resolutions complete.
Like something like that, though, I think we want to have follow up on because like what we should do is now that we've talked about like having a school athletic association that has funding, we should take that to the next level, which would be to try to get funding in the upcoming budget for it.
Okay, I
So
will make
I
that
think
an
some of
action
these
item.
like yeah, some of these I think there'll be more work to do because I think that was really good work on that last spring. I just don't want to lose track of it. And we don't have to do this now. We
Yeah,
can do this offline
I'm making a
before.
note to update this, and then at the next meeting, we can circle back on that.
Yeah, because like on priority 6, I have a lot more that needs to be done there. Because I mean, even though we completed what we set out to do, it was by no means a win. I mean, the families did not get what they wanted. Most of them were either forced out of DCPS or they were, uh, just ended up being completely out of luck. I think only one student was actually helped. I think most left the system altogether because of the chancellor's action. So there's a lot more to do there, but that's more of a Ward 3 issue, which I'll handle.
Yeah. And then for the safety and discipline roundtable, I was thinking we could fill in this section following our October panel, just filling in some information on restorative justice and just making sure that it is victim centered, getting best practices and recommendations from researchers, from experts in organizations, and some government uh, leadership, I think, on that topic. We could then maybe reach out to other experts, maybe outside of the DC area, to just get a better handle on what's going on in other states and what are some best practices around that.
Yeah. Another idea that I think we may want to look at, because it was first on the students' list of priorities, is the
Mhm.
idea of school-based mental health services. I was one who co-authored that, working for Vince Gray, the legislation that the council approved on school-based mental health. And I think since it's such a priority for the students, it might be time to check in on the program. One of the concerns with the program was that they were basically just using the funding for like events and passing out literature, but what it really needed to happen was one-on-one counseling, with a trained psychologist or psychiatrist who could actually provide real mental health counseling, which is a lot more expensive and a lot more labor intensive. But that may be what's necessary to solve the challenges some of these youth face in the schools. So I think checking back in on where that is important because I've lost touch with it a bit since coming over here and off the council staff. So I would be interested, given it seems to be a top priority for the students, in kind of putting that in the committee's agenda because I think it dovetails and mirrors safety very closely. I think if students have good mental health, the schools will be a lot safer. I mean, it doesn't solve all the issues clearly, but it's an important component.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
I can make
Representative
that.
Best, is there anything you want to discuss on this draft of the agenda?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, great. All right, fantastic. All right, we'll move on then to the next issue. Dr. Fleischer, anything else on this you want to discuss?
Yeah, just I think we'll circle back on the student listening session, but while I have this uh outside of the student listening session and potential fiscal year 2026 funds. So this session 2 will be much more targeted and likely will require funding to reach out to students that we didn't hear from and really aim for working with maybe a third party to really identify those students, do outreach with the students, and gather further testimony and experiences. So this first session is more back to school, like what are their first impressions returning? And then the second one would be in early 2026. It would be more, okay, it's been a few months. How are things going now? So circling back with some who participate in the first session, but also working with a third party to hear from students that might not have been able to participate in that.
That
So
makes sense.
outside of that, is there anything else on here that might require funding?
No, I mean that also though might require a little bit of funding for materials, supplies at these events if we start doing them in person. I'm not sure what that would entail yet, but it does remind me that I need to get in touch with Roma to get that funding for uh, in some form that we can either use for food for the students or for supplies and event materials for things like this. And I need to make sure that's locked in. So uh, I will make a note to myself to get in touch with him tomorrow.
Got it.
Okay, should we move on to the next item?
Yes.
Okay, next item is the nurse letter update. Darren, I just want to thank you for doing a great job in drafting that. I have not looked at it yet. I need to read it through, and then we'll have to send that out to folks just to review and read. I haven't been in that much of a rush for it, just because I wanted things to get settled first in the schools, and then the key deadline is making sure we get the information so we can make some informed recommendations in the upcoming budget cycle, because I think we want to get started on that early with the advocacy and
Mhm.
just understand what situation our students face. I'm very concerned that the 54% reduction in school nurses might be worse in this upcoming year with the transition over from children's to DC Health. So it's really important that we get the data and that then we can start advocacy if there's a need to increase the number of trained RNs in our schools, which is really the only safe nurse to have in a school, in my opinion, and the opinion of most people who follow the issue. So, Representative Best, do you want to speak on this at all? I think this is in my court to review the letter, but also all the members can review it and make edits at the same time.
Nothing else to add, but I do want to share that I do echo the same sentiments that you have, especially seeing as though we look at a potential reduction. I think this is a big issue.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Uh, the next issue, SAC application, top issues. I think this will be some interesting information that you're going to share with us, Ms. Spriggs, right?
Yes, I will be. Yep.
All right, wonderful.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you all can have a look at the data. And then is everyone able to see it just fine?
Not yet, it's still loading, but it may be taking a second here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we are.
Perfect. Okay, great. And if you need me to make anything bigger or smaller, please let me know. But I just wanted to show you all what I've been working on, which has been looking more closely at the SAC applications and specifically thinking about how we can tie in the data from the applications as we start to think, or as the committee starts to think about planning the listening sessions.
This is extremely helpful. Thank you. And you even
Yes,
broke it
you're
down by
welcome.
ward, which I wasn't expecting. That's great to see.
Great. I'm glad that it's helpful. Before I get into the numbers of everything, I did want to walk through kind of some of the data facts and collections. So there were 133 applications that were completed. And then in the application, students were told to choose or asked to choose 1 to 3 education issues to focus on or that they would like to focus on. And from that, there were 255 responses that we received in the application and looking closely at and we're categorizing and looking at what issues were the most salient across all of the applications, regardless of ward. We found that 20% of the responses had mentioned mental health resources as something that students would like to focus on. 30 or 11%, about 12% said college and life readiness as well as school safety. And then 9% equitable access to quality education and 8% budget concerns. Within budget concerns, a lot of it was talking about things such as school funding inequality, as well as the uncertainty around the budget with the DC budget cuts happening. So these are kind of the things that popped out that were most salient with all of the applications. But Dr. Fleischer was interested at looking at what the breakdowns were across the wards. So these charts over here will show you that information. And they pretty much reflect what we're seeing in the top 5 issues. What I will point out is that some wards are represented more in the data than others, like Ward 4 is definitely dominating. And you see that
So
Ward 2
why is that?
counts.
Why are they beating my ward in Ward 3? They get a
Um,
lot of participation. Good for them. I mean,
they
that's
did. They
great.
did a lot of numbers. But that's something that we can also know and think about as we're thinking about the student listening planning sessions and kind of where the applications are going as well. What I will note is that the difference, one of the wards that is different than the others is Ward 7. Within their top 3, out of school time makes it into their top 3 category, whereas the rest tend to fall within the top 5. But this gives more of a closer look at by ward what the differences may be and thinking about the questions that members may want to ask students during these student listening sessions as well. What I will note is that the category other was excluded from both charts. If it were to be included, it would have been in the top 5 issues, I think around the second category. And then it would also be in every ward breakdown chart. But within the other category, and if I'll scroll down, you'll see it here. Some of those examples would be things such as student engagement in class, a lot of less standardized testing, proficiency gaps, both in literacy and science, accessibility, uniform policy, mentioning students with disabilities and resources for those students, as well as DEI. And within that, there's cultural representation and curriculum, as well as culturally relevant curriculum. But I thought that this would be helpful for you all. And if there are any questions, please let me know. And if you want me to look closer at something in the data, I can. And you all will also get a copy, a PDF copy of this as well.
Well, this is fantastic. I have a couple questions and ideas, but we'll let Representative Best go first if he'd like to ask any.
Nope, you got it, man.
All right, wonderful. All right, so just quickly on this, it's fantastic. This is exactly what we should have. I love it. When I look at the top 5 issues, to me at least, it seems like 2 are in this committee and 2
Mhm.
are in the College Career and Life Readiness Committee. I feel like the mental health resources and school safety are in our area, and the college life readiness obviously would be in that committee, and then the
Mhm.
equitable access to quality education, I think would mostly fall there. I mean, if it's involving extracurricular activities, it could fall within ours, but I think
Mhm.
mostly that would fall within the other committee. And then budget concerns is really like a universal issue for the board to tackle that touches all committees, but in the area that is germane to the committee. So I think we've got our 2 challenges over there. OST
Mhm.
also is a huge priority for me, so I'm glad to see that on the list. 2 for Ward 7. I think that's really important to look at that as part of this experience. And then, if you wouldn't mind scrolling back down to those other items there, real quick.
Yeah.
So the question I had for you is uniform policy. Is that to make policies more uniform, or is that talking about like the physical clothing, like student uniforms? And then with
Physical clothing. Yeah, like what
okay.
they're wearing to school. Yep.
And were they supporting additional uniforms, like, or changes in policy, or getting rid of
Mm.
uniforms? Like, what was the sentiment there? Was it that we need uniforms, or that we need to get rid of uniforms?
I would need to look. Some of the responses aren't quite as detailed. So sometimes it'll just say just uniform policy, but that's something that I can definitely follow up to look at what was mentioned within that specific response or category.
Yep. And student drug use, I think, also fits in our discussion of safety. So that's great to see
Mhm.
as well. I think the rest of that kind of falls more. Accessibility, I think, actually dovetails with OST. And that's what
Mhm.
Representative Johnson Law was looking at, which is to try to make sure OST programs are also accessible for youth with disabilities. So that may be something that we can tackle that crosses over there. And I think what's really great about this is I'm going to approach our student reps about is to now go to the next level of this. So for like mental health, like if mental health is the number one issue, like is it that students feel they need more mental health services for themselves, or do they see peers that are suffering from mental health issues that they feel like could use help from the school? Like what specifically did they mean by that? Same thing with school safety. Is the issue about bullying? Is it about like getting to and from school? Uh, like what is specifically the safety concerns? Because then we go to the next level and figure out like then how we start solving issues. And the same thing could be said with the last one down, the uniforms, is just what do they mean by
Mhm.
that? You know, like what are the solutions? Like those three I see as ones that we could go back to SAC and say, we hear you. These are your priorities. We want to make them part of ours too. So can you tell us more about them? And I think that would be a great way to, utilize the brilliant students we got in SAC. So this looks great to me. I'm very grateful you put this together. And is there anything else you have on this, Representative Best, before we move on, or anything else you'd like to say, Ms. Spriggs, before we move on?
No, but this was definitely awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. That was all. And then again, you all will be getting a copy of it as well. And then I will follow up with you, Representative Goulet, about that uniform
Yeah,
policy
and I
question.
can get you my cell phone. Just give me a call and we can kind of talk through next steps with SAC if we want to look at going back to talking to them. So that's,
Sounds
Can I jump in here really quickly?
yeah, of
First, I
course.
also want to praise Taylor because she did a wonderful job on top of everything else that comes our way as a team. But I also want to share that we can identify the students who shared these education topics, so that could be we could specifically follow up with
Ask them. Yeah,
a
that's
Mhm.
great.
student on the questions that you asked. And so we can get on that. Also, Nyla is joining our call as well.
Oh, let's get her on.
Student Representative
Wonderful.
Dinkins.
I
So
will wait.
I'm gonna jump
Before we
off.
move past this agenda item, we'll let her get on here. Representative Best, if you need us to, we can move to your agenda item. Are you doing all right on time? We try to get these done in an hour, but
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
we've
I
done
mean,
more than
yeah, I
that.
mean, we can discuss that. It's
Okay.
fine.
All right. I just want to be able to make sure I give Representative Dinkins an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think she's up yet, though.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to? How do
I
you want
don't.
to?
No, I think we're just waiting for Ms. Dinkins to join us here. Can we add
Uh,
her to the meeting?
Well,
The
well,
panelist?
while she's joining, I could pull up. I've updated the resolution
Oh,
for
with those.
Representative Best,
Okay, great.
and I'll put the link in the chat as well.
Thank you. I think I had an opportunity to check it out. It looked amazing. I think there was like a grammatical error towards the end. Well, not grammatical, but like a continuity
You caught
issue.
the same thing I did, I think, then.
Okay.
I fixed
Dr.
that.
Fleischer and I were going over that. It looked like between
Oh.
some lines that something had been deleted inadvertently.
Yeah, but other than that, I love how you incorporated Kayla's voice in there. But I'll let you all have some time to review it.
Well, I was going to
And
vote on it today. It looked good to
yeah,
me. I reviewed it. I read the
yeah.
whole thing. So I
Well,
was ready to vote unless you wanted to wait.
no, I'm absolutely ready to vote.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. But we still don't have Representative Dinkins promoted to being a panelist yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see on my end what's going on with that.
And
I think she uh let me try to promote one more time. But yeah, that issue, I updated the link, so actually I can share that with you.
Okay.
It was just a formatting issue.
I see we've got a couple of people as participants. We could give an opportunity for the public to speak if they want to add anything. So I see we have Cynthia Taylor Cutler and Tatiana Allen in the on the meeting. If there's anything that they want to add in the chat, they're welcome to, and we'll be glad to respond to it. But I appreciate people joining us. It's great to have
Absolutely.
public interested in these committee meetings because oftentimes they don't get a lot of focus. Representative Dinkins, thank you for joining us here. Uh, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
We can. So before we move off the topic we were just on, can we bring that sheet back up, Ms. Spriggs, just so we can see if Representative Dinkins wants to comment on that?
Yep, I'm pulling it up now. It might be a little laggy. There we go.
Yeah, so this was the hard work of the students filling out their applications, Representative Dinkins, that gave us the priorities, not just the top five, but then by ward as well. So I thought that this was very useful information. And a couple of these priorities fall right within this committee, which is mental health resources and school safety. So the other ones would fall within another committee. But we're excited to try to tackle those. Also, OST made the list that would be within the purview of this committee. And then, if you don't mind, Ms. Briggs, can you go down to the list of the kind of the others that also were talked about?
Yep, there you
And
go.
we had the idea of the first two, I think, are the college career and life readiness. Same with three. Four could be us. So accessibility, we're saying for OST programs, particularly for students with disabilities, was something that Representative Johnson Law had talked about and has been the subject of discussion before. So we could look at disability access issues there. And then the discussion of uniforms, school uniforms, and student drug use would both fall within this committee. The final item, it appears DEI, cultural representation and curriculum, would obviously fall within the College Career and Life Readiness Committee, which handles curriculum matters. So we've got a lot of items though in this committee. I want to just quickly recap those and see if there was any comments you wanted to add to this. But we're excited to work with SAC. And right before you got on, I was saying that like I think the next step would be for the SAC, if they're interested in doing this, to kind of drill down on what students mean by mental health. Like, is it a concern about like their own mental health and they feel like they benefit from resources, or do they see their peers who may be struggling with mental health issues? And then what type of services do we want to provide? Is it more like general meetings on mental health, or is it more in-depth counseling? So like getting that to that next level on this, and the same with school safety, school uniforms, and other issues, I think is going to make a big difference in terms of us understanding what the issues are. So I'll turn it over to you for comments on this at this time.
Thank you so much. This reminds me of our first meeting for the SAC. I remember when we brought up if there were any issues that people wanted to talk about. A lot of people are very passionate about mental health. I think a lot of it stemmed from not having the resources or knowing like the hotline to call or what to do with circumstances in schools. So I think that that is a very big issue that we should talk about. Also with the NASB conference that happened yesterday, budget cuts and funding, school funding is a problem that is occurring like across many different state boards of education. And I think that's also something really important and interesting to see here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will be something probably the board tackles at the full board level. I mean, we will have issues that we may want to recommend as a committee that are related to the student experience, but the issue of kind of the overall budget letter and that will be done at the full board. But certainly we can tackle those individual issues and kind of come up with ideas of what we think needs to be funded and what needs to be potentially preserved from cut in the budget. So that'll be something definitely we want to take on. So definitely thank you for those comments. And if you're ready, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
Yes.
Anything else on this one? Okay, great. So can you let me get the agenda back up here? So the next item I see on the agenda is the student listening session planning, updates and next steps. Dr. Fleischer, do you want to provide an update on this?
Sure, I can give a very brief update on that. I'm just looking for the here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay, student listening session planning. So event logistics are complete. The planning around that, signups, things like that. We that is good to go, and now the applications are open. We shared those with over 75 student SAC members at Monday's SAC meeting. And I emailed that registration link out to about 150 SAC members. So those are all high schoolers. We also plan on reaching out to, like I said, PAVE, other organizations to see if they can share that out with parents for younger students, grades 1 through 8, and just share out the package for the social media toolkit for other students. Trying to pull up a picture of what that toolkit looks like. We did. Okay, can you see this?
I
If I
can.
share. So it looks something like this. We have Spanish and we have it in English. Let's see if I can do the English version. So this is sort of a social media item that we'll share on our state board page, as well as kind of like an image that students, school leaders, teachers can share so that they can be involved in that process. So we're on target. October 8th is the listening session, and so we'll take a look at uh, who signs up, where across the city they're signing up, and as we're getting closer to the date, have more targeted advertisements for this. Our threshold is 60 students for live testimony. Each one will get about 3 minutes. And then anyone else past that 60 will be able to share written testimony. And we could probably follow up just looking at their testimony. Another part of this will be getting resources to students who testify and share out their experiences of the first few weeks of the school year or first month or so of the school year, and getting them to the right place. If there's like an issue at the school that hasn't been resolved, sending them over to the Office of the Ombudsman. If there's an issue with just resources or getting something squared away with their IEPs, helping them get in touch with the Office of the Student Advocate. So that would be immediately following the student listening session. I don't want to talk too much about it because I know this is a project for this committee, but I could take any questions about that, where we're at right now.
Well, I'll kick it off. I just want to thank you for all your work on this, Dr. Fleischer. I mean, this is an incredible amount of work you put in, and I think this is going to make a big difference. If we can get to 60 youth for the first one, and we need to have people submitting written testimony, that's a great problem to have. That means it was a real success. So, and I just also want to commend you for the amazing attendance at the SAC meeting. I know a lot of that is due to your leadership of pulling, youth from across the city. Into those meetings and keeping them engaged. And I think we've seen students come back and then we've seen them tell their friends. And then, I mean, it was just an incredible sight to see the room packed. So I think what we should focus on maybe first, also, in addition to everything you're doing there, is just inviting our SAC students to come and speak to the board. Because, when you have 75 students in the room, I mean, not everybody's going to get a chance to talk about what their priorities are necessarily. So this will give all those students an opportunity, or at least 60 of the 75, an opportunity to come and speak. And I think it'll be very beneficial. And if this is a true success, I mean, we're doing this first one on a weekday to try it out, but then maybe we can move it to a weekend and allow more time. Because I would love to sit there all day and hear from students on what their issues are, and then try to help solve the concerns that they've raised, or maybe they just have something good to say about their students and their teachers. So I'm excited about this. Representative Best, we'll turn to you for comments next.
Yep, no, I would echo the same sentiments that you shared. I also would like to give tremendous kudos to Dr. Fleischer on the work that he's done. I often find myself bragging about the work that Dr. Fleischer has done with our students to some of the school board reps that I do work with in my own job. And so I think that's just an awesome accomplishment. I don't have any further questions or comments.
Sounds great. All right, Representative Jenkins, we'll turn to you next. Any comments you want to make on this agenda item?
Not necessarily. I think that it's a good idea. I like the time allocation and I'm excited to hear how it goes.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, you can participate as a member and ask questions to the students in the meeting if you want. So that's the other good thing is you'll be not, I mean, you could wear both hats, but I think in this case you would be on the committee, hopefully. We've still got to work that out, but on the committee and then asking questions to the panelists. So that would be something that I'm hopeful for because I think having peers on the panel would be really exciting for students to get to speak to their peers too. So, okay.
I wanna share one more thing. I didn't mean to cut you
Oh
off.
no, go ahead, please. I was done. I was
I want
done.
to also praise you for lifting this up, but also part of the planning process and what are the goals for this. One of the things you mentioned was students wise helping them craft their skills around testimony. So I think leading up to this, there is like a great resource. Let me share my screen really quickly just so you have an idea. Something like this from the DC action on how to testify. And so as we get closer to it, helping them craft it, not telling them what to say, but helping them as students who are, I mean, we're all always learning, but
Well,
using
and
something like this and also just like really honing in on what the topic is so that they can focus on getting their experiences out. But I do plan on sharing that, and I know that's something you mentioned early on.
yeah, I think that's great. And we could even do a quick 2-minute training session at the SAC meeting to qualify for pizza on that
Uh,
session.
and it's funny you mentioned that. Our next SAC meeting is 2 days before
Oh, good.
the listening session, October 6th. So it might be something that we can raise, share out, and practice out. I'll
My
have to
training,
talk to the student reps, but
that counts as training, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one, we'll move to the final item, I think, on the agenda was just a new business. And I think the one item that I had on the new business agenda was a vote on Representative Best's resolution. Was there any other items of new business that Dr. Fleischer, you wanted to add, or that Representative Best or Representative Dinkins wanted to add for discussion today? Is that it then? Okay. All right, let's move to a vote. Can we bring the resolution up with the proposed amendments that we talked about?
Yes, one moment. The Dropbox seems to be a little glitchy with that. So what I'm gonna do is just open the um just the draft that I have in Word and we could go through it. And Representative Goulet, I believe at the top of the meeting, but or before we started, you had a few questions for Representative Best as well. But I'll open this up so that you all can see that. Can you see this?
Yes. Can we go to the second page where I think both Representative Best and I found that the typographical
Yeah,
issue?
this is it. This is the
Okay.
version. I
Was that
think
the
it's
same
a
thing
little
you saw,
weird.
Representative Best, that we were just missing a couple lines in there that maybe got like inadvertently deleted? Or did you catch something else?
Say that again.
This was the item that I'd
Yeah,
seen.
that's what I was talking about.
Okay, good. It
I
was the same thing I noticed.
Yeah.
The just we'll let you go first, Representative Best, since it's your resolution. So I'll turn to you to present it to the committee.
Yeah, so I'm excited to finally present this to you all. As you know, I've been working on Civics Learning Week for quite some time now, but finally able to put together the resolution with the support of several organizations within the city. I have been attending some there's a civics working group already going on in DC, and so I've been able to attend a couple of those meetings. And there's so much like a wealth of knowledge and information there that I think that it will be quite easy for us to take that information. I mean, take some of those resources, such as the people who are like eager to, be a part of this, inclusive of um, the civics working group, as well as the Make for Challenge. DCPS is on board, and there are several other organizations that have been eager to play a role in shaping what this could look like. And so, just decided to get it to a vote right now, so that we can get it out of committee and get it into the I guess bring it to the whole, and then move forward from there.
Well, wonderful. Well, am fully supportive of this resolution. I want to commend you for all your hard work on this, for bringing these groups together, and then for producing what really is a great resolution, which I'm excited to support today and bring to the working session. So thank you, first of all, for all of that that you've done to get this to this point. The one question I had, and Dr. Fleischer, after you fix that date there, can we move up to the second page?
Mm-hmm.
So the only question I had was, it said here on lines 48 through 50, oh no, 44 through 46, that we weren't included in the state ambassadors list. I just wanted to understand, if we could, why we weren't included. Was it because we didn't apply, or we just didn't meet the criteria? Uh, do you know off the top of your head? And if you don't know now, we can come back to it, why we weren't included in this list.
I can go back and try to get that information
Yeah,
for you.
because I think what we may want to do as a technical amendment is, like, let's say if we were left out for a specific reason, we may want to just add uh, like something after line 46, just stating how this resolution will resolve our exclusion from the list. That was my only, and that's something we can do after committee vote as a technical amendment. It doesn't change the substance of anything we're voting on. So before we present it to the working session, uh, if we could add that, just to say, uh, like something like that, and how we'll solve that through this resolution and through Civics Week, if that's what we can do.
Okay. Yep.
Because I would just love for us to be included. So that was my only comment. I think this is, other than this is really great. I would like to turn to Representative Dinkins for her comments on this.
So I also agree. I'm in full support. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for students to be able to engage in important conversations and also um, have like exposure to civic engagement. I think that this is a very good way to do it, and um, I think it really puts students at the forefront. So I'm in full support.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks for those comments. And we're going to go to a vote on the resolution now. And before we do, I'm going to explain how this will work. Is that Representative Dinkins, we cannot let you be a voting member yet. The good news is once, we're trying to make sure you're a member of this committee, but once the vote puts the student reps on the committees, the exciting thing is that they are full voting members of the committees. Their vote counts to whether things leave committee. And that's really exciting. But the vote on adding student reps and Representative Colson will take place at the public meeting coming up. So after that point, we're going to have our student reps as full members of the committee, and their votes will count towards the result of the legislation. So I'm not ignoring you by not calling for your vote. You're not an official member of the committee yet until the board approves you. So I just wanted to put that on the record and explain that. So I'll start by, we'll do a roll call on this. I'll vote aye in support of moving it to the working session. Representative Best?
Aye.
Okay, the vote is unanimous, 2-0, in support of advancing this resolution to the next working session. So thanks again for your work on this.
I'm sorry to interrupt. And I know we've already voted, but could I just like offer just like a point of clarity? I know that
Yes.
Representative Dinkins is new. I also wanted to share that for the first year, we're actually trying to start off with a pilot. And so we're gonna, work to build this out. And so I know you just now seeing it, but we are excited about this, but we also want to make sure that we're doing it right. And so we're going to start off with a small pilot first.
And as always, I should have mentioned this as I moved it. We move it with leave for staff to make technical corrections. So if we get that additional clarification in there, we can put that in then uh, before the vote. And we will have Representative Dinkins marked as present on the committee at the time of the vote, but yet can't record her vote yet. So that is everything on that one. Is there anything else on the agenda? Does anybody have any announcements that they would like to make? We have 5 minutes left of our time, and Representative Dinkins, we are very good on this committee at staying on time. If it says an hour, it's an hour. So we do good with that. So is there anything in the last 5 minutes that anybody wants to add for announcements before the next meeting? Okay. Well, hearing none, I want to thank Dr. Fleischer for running the meeting, for Ms. Spriggs for joining us with that great research project that you did, and then to Representative Best and Representative Dinkins for joining the meeting tonight. And then I'd also like to thank our guests. I see that we have Cynthia Taylor Cutler in the chat. We have a few minutes for public comment. Do we want to promote Ms. Cutler to see if she wants to make any public comment? I'll move that as part of the new business. So without objection, we'll let Ms. Cutler come on and present any comments that she has. We'll give Ms. Cutler 3 minutes to provide public comment. So Ms. Cutler,
Yes, hello. Can you all hear me?
I can, yes. Thanks for joining us
Okay.
tonight.
Thank you. I am actually a journalist from News One, and I sat in on this conversation. It was very enlightening. I love how you guys are moving forward with the mental health services, providing them for the children. So I just wanted to step in and see if I could speak with you, Mr. Eric Goland, and Taylor Spriggs, and Representative Dickens, and ask you guys just a few questions after the meeting. You
Yes,
guys had a lot of insight.
absolutely. Well, I'll speak for myself. You can ask me. The other folks can speak for themselves on it, but I would be glad to answer any questions you have. And I can put my cell phone number in the chat if that would be helpful.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and then
please.
if Ms. Spriggs or uh, Representative Dinkins want to speak, they can also include theirs. I know Ms. Spriggs is an employee of the state board, I believe. So she may want to speak with the leadership of the board before speaking to press. But I'm glad to speak to press beforehand. I was about to put the wrong number in. So I'm going to put my number in. Wonderful. And thanks for joining us. It was really great to get someone interested in the committee meetings and the business of the committee. We're excited to make progress this year.
Oh, no, I am just so happy to have joined this meeting. This is very impactful. When I was a child, I was actually a member of the SAC.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
So
You should come to one of the
this was
meetings.
amazing.
If the SAC, you talk to the SAC reps, I mean, and come check out the meetings. It's incredible how it's grown. This year there was like 75 students, and it was just so amazing to go in there, see such energy, and the students run the meeting and just did an incredible job of getting to, get to meet their new peers on the SAC. So it was really inspirational.
Yes, I would love to come see that. That would be an amazing story. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we look forward to continuing to work with you on this issue, and feel free to call me at your convenience after the meeting. Is there any other business to discuss at all right now on the meeting? Okay, well, hearing none, I'd like to move to adjourn. Can I get a second? And Representative Best, you have to second this because you're the only other person here. So I hope you are able to second it. Otherwise, we have to stay on in
I don't know. I was
perpetuity.
thinking about keeping you on for a little while longer, but I'm going to second.
Okay, good. All right, wonderful. Otherwise, we would never be able to leave. So, all right, well, with that second, move for vote to adjourn at this time. So moved. I'll say aye. Representative Best.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to adjourn. You may stop the recording at this time, Dr. Fleischer, and